On this episode of Let's Talk Social Allies, I'm with Bill Scott, CEO of Wilton Engineering. Wilton Engineering is a multi-million-pound company based in Teesside. It specialises in oil and gas, and Bill has quickly become one of the leading, influential and recognisable people in the UK. He is born and bred in Middlesbrough, and we are here with him today. Hi, Bill.
Thank you.
Was that a nice intro?
It was an excellent intro. I wouldn't say I was one of the most recognised people in the UK.
Yeah, you definitely.
Maybe it's in our
Prince
street.
Charles knows it.
Maybe it's in our street, but yeah.
Prince Charles knows it.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
I've got a can of Coke and a Mars bar in front of you.
I'm loving it. I really want to dive into that right now, but I won't. But
Tell
go
me
on.
about the story.
So I suppose somebody said to me, "Where did my entrepreneurial journey start?" I didn't really have to think about that. I was very sporty at school, and I decided to get a job as a paper boy on a paper round. Went along, and there wasn't a job, and then all of a sudden the guy rang me up, and the person who had the biggest paper round in the shop left, and that was available, which was great for me because it meant I was doing a lot of cycling, and so it didn't bother me a bit. And so I did it for about a year, all through the winter and etc. And it came up to the second winter, and on a Sunday these papers were like thick with supplements, and I remember going in and thinking, my God, wind, rain, snow, you had to do a double, so it was a double round on a Sunday. So I went in after a particularly bad day, and I said, look, I'm thinking about packing it in, and he said, why? And I explained, look, I've got the biggest round by a mile, but I'm getting paid the same as everybody else. And at the time it was 87.5 pence, right? So he said, so he's looking around the shop, make sure there's nobody else in there. And he said, what are you looking for? I said, £1. He said, £1? This is £1 a week, by the way. £1? I said, yeah, and can of Coke and a Mars bar 7 days a week. He said, right, you little bugger, if you tell anybody else you got this, you're fired. And that was my first negotiation.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, Juliet told me.
Did she tell you?
Yeah, I was saying, what's his favourite drink? And then she told me that, and I was like, right, let's go right in front of him when he starts his podcast.
Yeah.
So tell me about education, how did you find school?
School, I really enjoyed school. I wasn't too bothered about, lessons and stuff like that. Yeah. I was probably in the top half of the school. I remember being at the bottom of the class in school. I think I was in the top class at school, but at the bottom, hanging on for dear life, And I remember having measles once, and they were doing fractions and something like that, and I came back, and I'd never ever get my head around fractions because I wasn't there when they were teaching them. And I often think if I'd have dropped down to the class below, I might have been a bit better. So I did enjoy it. I found it a friendly environment. I did a lot of sports, so on sports day I used to do the long jump, high jump, 100 metres, 200 metres, hurdles, relays, and the only thing I couldn't do was the anything long distance. So I was a sprinter, not a long distance runner. So I remember I used to smoke then, and
did you? Oh
at
my
school,
God, I can't imagine you smoking.
Yeah, I know. But what I used to do, I used to run off quickly, get in front of everybody.
And you're like,
no. I used to run off quickly, get in front of everybody, hide behind a tree, right? have a bag, watch them go around the corner. When they're coming back round again, I used to join back in.
That's shocking.
Finish. I know, but
don't do this as a school kid.
But but it was. I enjoyed it. My first sports teacher, he was the England basketball coach, which led me to play basketball.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, I really enjoyed basketball, and I remember he stopped the class, and he said, "Right, can everybody stop and just watch this young man here?" Right, and I went, "Oh, right, okay." And what I was doing, I was actually doing a natural layup, which is like 2 steps before the basket, hitting the corner of the black square, and the ball goes in. But I didn't know how to play. I was just like patting the ball, wasn't bouncing it, but And then I was just sort of a bit of a natural, really. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Then your basketball career.
And then he left, and then the a guy called Steve Smelt came in, and he was the like a football coach. So then I went from basketball to football.
Did you?
Yeah, but then I played cricket and did all these things. Yeah. I was okay at football, but not brilliant.
What did you prefer, basketball or football?
I prefer basketball by a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for trials to Borough Boys for football, and I remember right wing, really fast player. So right wing, if nobody in front of me, there's nobody going to catch me, right? So anyway, took the ball down the right hand side, cut in towards the goal, and I heard this like grunting sound. And next thing I knew, I was on my back looking at the stars, thinking, what was that? Saw this big, fat, hairy leg coming in. And I've only been about 14 or 15, right? And anyway, then he turned around, put his hand out and lifted me up. He's got a full beard, right? He's got hairy legs and everything. His legs are twice the size of mine. And I'm thinking, I hadn't even thought about shaving then. I don't think I started shaving until I was about 19. So I was skinny as a rake, and I thought, no, it's not for me. I'm clearly not good enough. Anyway, he went on to play for Middlesbrough, I think, and Darlington. So yeah.
Knocked you over on the way.
So I'd give that a wide berth, yeah. So I just concentrate on basketball.
So when did you decide to go into business?
It was interesting. So when I was 18, at basketball actually, well, I'll go back to when I started work. So how did I choose what I wanted to do? I wanted to be in the Navy or the Army, fancied combat, stuff like that. But I was playing basketball. I got chopped in the neck. I beat the guy who was coaching the team, Ali Bean, I don't know, 16, obviously, 16.
Yeah.
And I showed him the ball. He leaned forward. I went round him, went underneath the basket, leaned up, put it in from behind, dead cocky. As I was up there, he chopped me in the neck, and I went down like a bag of potatoes.
Really?
Yeah.
My God.
So I got up, holding my neck, choking, and ran back into defence. Finished the game, shake hands, have a shower, and that was it. No, nothing, no whinging. And the next day, he rang my dad and said, "What's your lad want to do for work?" And he said, I think he said about going in the Navy or the Army or something, He said, right, I've got an apprenticeship for him if he wants to come along and start. My dad said, I'll get a CV organised for him, right? And he said, no need, he's already been interviewed. He said, I chopped him in the neck. He said he went down like a bag of potatoes, didn't whinge, didn't moan. That's the type of person I want.
Nice.
That was it. That's how I got my job. Roll on, when I was 18, he came into the workshop, and he was the owner of the fabrication shop. You say, right, get some gear tomorrow. Me and you are going to go on site. And this was the Coke and the Mars bar trick again. So we pulled him outside this shop, and he loved his sweets and stuff like that. So he pulled over. I'm going to pop in, and do you want anything? I put my hand in my pocket. I said, I don't think I've got any money. And he said, it's okay, I'll get it. So I followed him in, and he went and said, I'll have a Mars bar Twix or whatever it was, and a couple of cans of Coke. And he said, "What do you want?" I said, "All right, okay, I just have a Mars bar and a can of Coke." and then he pulled out this wad of money. It was a circular wad of money. You couldn't see through the centre, and he peeled off a note. And I can't remember if it was a 5, a 10, or a 50, or a 20, whatever it was, but it was a big, thick wad of money, and he struggled getting out of his pocket. So I got back in the car, and I said, "Can I just ask you something? Why have you got that much money in your pocket? You've probably got my annual salary in your pocket right now." And he said, "Look, son, there's two things in life, right? You could stay with me, right? I want you to be the managing director of our company one day, grow the business, right? You're the managing director. I can see it now, and or you could leave and work for somebody else, and or you could leave, work for somebody else, learn something, and then start your own business, and then you might have one of these." Yeah, and I thought, all right, okay. So that was the pebble on the pond.
Yeah.
So that was the ripple effect, that I call it. So then at that point, that's when I was thinking. All right, okay. So I used to work hard. I used to work every weekend as an apprentice. I used to get paid bonuses. I got paid, quite a lot of money. I would take jobs on a price. So they'd say to me, how much is it going to cost for me to do this? And I'd give them hours. So I would make more money doing that as well, So, and I did work hard, and I was pretty good at what I was doing. So So, and then I suddenly got a phone call from a headhunter. Didn't know what a headhunter was, no idea. He rang our house, was before before mobile phones were even thought about. Rang the house and, asked for, was it Billy or Bill Scott?
Yeah.
So my mum passed the phone to my dad, and and then he said, my dad suddenly realised, actually, I don't think it's me you want to talk to, I think it's my son.
Yeah.
And so I chatted to him, headhunter, sorry, I don't know what, explain what it was, and went for the interview. And at the interview, it was a bit strange. It was quite a big job they were looking at doing. So I said, can I look at the drawings? And I said, right, okay, yeah, I feel as though I can help you out there. Genuinely, I do.
Yeah.
And he said, right, great. I said, where are we going to do it? He said, well, in here. In what? I said, not in the office, obviously, but in the workshop. Can I go and look? So I went to the workshop and said, right, okay, you have a problem? Have you got this job? He said, oh yeah, you've got it, yeah. You have a big problem. Right, so what's that? So you can't do it. What do you mean? I said, just not big enough. So by the time so there's 120 of these things to build,
yeah.
They're modules. So by the time you manufacture the jig, which will take the whole of the space of this current factory, you won't be able to build anything. You build one.
How old were you at this point?
22.
Right.
So I said, you need something 10, 12, 20 times bigger than this. Really? Yeah. So I can sit down and work it out for you if you want me to, but obviously, let's see if I get the job.
Yeah.
Went and sat in the car, started the car up, and he ran out and he tapped on the window. He said, you've got the job. yeah, when can you start? And that was the start of it, really. So then I got headhunted again, then headhunted again, and then when I was 32, that's when I looked in the mirror and thought, right, let's give it a go for myself.
Oh yeah, that is mental. So what made you want to do the company that you've got?
Well, it's just an add-on from what I was doing, you see. So I got into fabrication when I was 16, and each company I went to, again, it was 16. It was fabrication.
Yeah.
And what I thought was during that period, sort of subconsciously almost, was I thought about the good things that the managing directors had done, but also the bad things that weren't so good, how they treat people well and how they didn't treat people so well. And I finances and all that type of stuff, I was trying to get involved in all that type of thing. And so I felt as though when I was 32, I was pretty rounded. So I knew what I wanted to do, and I tried to utilise the things that I found were good and absolutely not do the things that were bad. And that's how we started.
That's how we started. And then look at it today.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So how did you? I think it's important for people when they're starting up and they want to go with a business partner. How did you decide to go down that route?
Yeah, so I sat down and gave it some good thought. I'd prepared a business plan. I'd done some financials, and I wasn't wanting to set off small. I was wanting to go. Somebody said, one of my staff said to me the other week, we just bought that facility in Haverton Hill, and he came over and he's on the shop floor. He does the job that I did when I was an apprentice in Plater. He came over, gave me a fist pump, and he went, well done, Bill, go big or go home. And I thought, that I've never heard that said before, but I really like it. I use it all the time now. Yeah. And I did think that, but not knowing go big or go home at the time. So I knew I wanted to build a significant size business. Yeah. I thought about holidays and the amount of time I'm going to be putting into it and what have you. And I thought, right, I really could do with somebody to be partners with me, but I didn't want money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want money. I wanted somebody that that could do the other side to what was the business, if you like. So I chose. I'm just speaking to him this morning, actually, Steve Glenn. Yeah. So he was my business partner right on day one. And sat down together. I said, look, there's, in my view, 2 points to a business: a black side and a white side. So the black side is looking after the people, and this accounts for both. Any company really. So someone's got to look after the people, whether you're manufacturing or whether you're in an office. Someone's got to look after them people and make sure everything's right, that they've got the right information and all that type of stuff. If you work in manufacturing, it's the material and everything else, and looking after all of that, delivering on time, make sure the quality's right, all that type of stuff. Then the white side is all of the procedure, the governance, accounts, estimating, all of that.
That's the worst side.
That's your worst
Yeah.
side, right? So, but fortunately, so during that period that I talked about earlier on, I'd learnt all that.
Yeah.
So I could do the black side or the white side, didn't matter to me. But Steve, he was, absolutely on the black side, So he chose that path, and that just automatically fell into the other side. Why did I choose him? I get often asked that question. He was bloody good at what he did. He was good at what he did. He was motivated. He was hardworking, and he was honest.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that was
it. Yeah.
That did it for you.
Yeah.
And then from there, you've obviously got multiple companies now.
Yeah, so we set off with Wilton Engineering, 1994. Then we started building things and painting. We were subcontracting the painting out. I remember subcontracting this huge tank out, and it was delivered by road. It was just on the limit for delivery on road. And I went along to see it the next day, and it needs to be blasted, a coat of paint applied, then another coat of paint, then another one. So I went the next day and it was finished. I went, my God, guys, you're just amazing. This is fantastic, How have you done it? What do you mean? I said, well, you're supposed to have blast and paint, then 24-hour delivery, 24-hour period to dry, and then another 24-hour period to dry. And clearly you put all the paint on at the same time. So if that's not thick enough, or I don't know how you've done it. So I got a key out and scratched it. Could see they hadn't actually done what they were supposed to do. They cheated the whole system. I got an alcometer, put it on with only half the thickness. Right, guys, you're going to have to dig it all off and do it right. So from that point, I thought, right, we're going to have to do our own here. Well, I wanted to build a quality company, big quality company, and that was something we really needed. So I started Universal Coatings so there was me, there was Steve and Paul Johnson.
Yeah.
So now Paul Johnson came into the family, and Paul, lot of experience in painting, had his own company, shop blasting painting company previously. And he just knew what he was doing, sort of, and that grew. That grew from nothing to over 100 people.
What it is today.
So, what it is today is probably the biggest shop blasting and painting company, certainly in the northeast of England.
It's fab.
By a country mile.
There's some characters there.
Oh, some great characters.
Some great characters. Yeah.
It's all about characters, about fun. Yeah. It's about going to work and doing the job. Yes, we've got to do it, but the characters make a difference.
Kieran is so funny.
Yeah, he's funny, isn't he?
Yeah, we did a shoot with him the other week and he was so funny.
We had Steve, a guy called Steve.
Yeah.
And when Boris Johnson was coming to our site.
Yeah.
So, you're not allowed to tell anybody he's coming. But we left it like 1 hour before he was coming to go and see everybody and say, right, the Prime Minister's coming, right? Now, whether you like him or you don't like him, respect him.
Yeah.
I don't care. I wouldn't care if it was who it is.
Yeah.
Whether it was somebody from Labour or Lib Dems or whatever. To me, it wouldn't matter. You have to respect the person.
Yeah.
So I went and spoke to all the fabricators, and they were quite quiet and didn't say anything. That was absolutely fine. I said, I'm going to get him in the blast pen, and then surround him by all of you guys. Everybody from Universal and Wilton will be there. So just ask him a question. Don't ask him anything stupid. Just think about what you want for your life to make it better. What makes it better for you? What questions can you ask him? Do that. So they were fine. Then I went to see Universal. And I walked into their canteen, and Steve stood there with this big banner like this, we love Boris. Big, in was it in red?
It was in red.
In
red.
Boris
was in red, wasn't it?
It was in red, and I was thinking, right. So I said, Steve, loving the sign, mate. What's on the back of it? It was blank, and it turns out this guy, he was genuinely like a Labour supporter, felt he'd had enough, and then just decided that he would support Boris, you know, and you know, like I said, everybody's got a choice, you know.
They used that picture of, you know, the We Love Boris in his campaign, I think.
It was on the back. So if that's the Conservative manifesto, on the back of it was a picture of Steve with all the guys, and it was amazing. Like, but we got some good traction from it.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I was only in business for like 3 months, and obviously I was there, wasn't I?
I invited you.
Yeah, you invited me, and I got a selfie with him.
You did get a selfie with him, yeah.
I changed a couple of Snapchat filters, so we looked up pretty.
Good.
But yeah, so what are challenges that you've found in business? So along the way, obviously, you bet you've been through so much.
Yeah, I mean, do you know, I mean, things come from nowhere. You know, I often talk about you should never relax when you think you've made it. You know, you're on top of the surfboard, you're thinking, hey, life's great, this is super, you know, and then all of a sudden the shark will bite the shark, but the surfboard, and you've been in the sea fighting. And you know, we've had quite a number of recessions over the years, and how you deal with recessions is really difficult. You know, we had a particular situation in 2014, I think, around that time, 14, 15, where the oil and gas price went from $150 a barrel down to, I think, was it 19 or 18 or something really low. So, you know, we had to make some dramatic cuts. You know, and you know, so we spent all this time building up this workforce that you know, they work with us. You know, I was trying to say they don't work for us, they work with us, so that you know most of them by name, and then you know, you understand that all those people have houses, homes, cars to you know, it's really difficult. So for the business, we had to reduce the numbers dramatically. What we did, I said to our HR guy, you know, treat everybody with respect. Let's try and find them other jobs outside. Let's use all of our influences that we have to try and help them get other jobs elsewhere. Let us turn this around and then bring those guys back. That's what I want to do.
That was the aim.
That was the aim.
Did you get your aim?
Not all of them. A lot of them came back.
How did COVID affect anything?
That was interesting. So it was, we were doing things before Boris Johnson told us we had to do them. So when I always look at myself as not a clever person. I just have a lot of good common sense, which isn't so common sometimes. So you know, when that guy left Italy, the skier, and he was a super spreader, remember that? Right. I'm saying this is coming to us. This is going to be big and bad. This is coming to us. So what can we do to alleviate things for our company? We're working on large projects with national interest for the defence, and we have to carry on through that. So we decided to, what's the most important thing? One is to pull in the money that you're owed, to pay out the money that you owe, to be able to pay your staff and your workforce. So we thought that the finance team was really important to look after. So what we did, we sent them home, got laptops, everything for them, set them all at home, and they worked as a unit at home. Zoom was fantastic, Teams meetings, you know, that worked really well, and so they did that, and it, you know, I think they were off for maybe 3-4 months, and but they were really keen to get back to work. And so everybody else stayed. Everybody, because we were a manufacturing business, we had to carry on with the project that we did. Very, very fortunate. We put in procedures to make sure that the guys were safe. And bizarrely, the COVID events that we did have were from the guys' wives.
Really?
Yeah, the guys' wives are catching it, and they had to isolate. And quite often they're isolated and they didn't catch it. So but hey, that's just where it goes.
Because you've got a really nice office mentality and like a nice office atmosphere when you go in, and everybody knowing each other, and everyone's so kind. So I can see why people wanted to get back to work.
Yeah, they were desperate to get back to work. A bit, I always call it the crack, a bit of crack.
It is a bit of band.
Well, the thing is, what I say is we don't have bosses. I've never classed myself as a boss. Just the word is not right, is it? I mean, if you're a director, the clue's in the title. You direct, don't you? And so and that is to do that. You've got to understand the full spectrum of the people that are working with you.
How do you lead and manage people?
I would say absolutely by example. So just a simple thing. If I was to go into a workshop environment, absolutely 100% have everything on that I need from a safety point of view. And people that don't lead by example, what does that say? So that is, for me, that is the most important thing.
Leading by example.
I mean, I see some people that run businesses and I can tell you a little story.
Yeah, go.
Shall I tell you that?
Love the stories.
So I was in the sauna, right? And I was in the sauna. There was two blokes opposite me in the sauna, and they were talking about business, and they were effing and jeffing about the staff. Pond life, they call them. So it was a situation where if they were leading by example, looking at their staff like that, it's just shocking. What do they expect? They had a high turnover of staff and all that type of stuff. And anyway, one of the guys left, and I had a good chat with him. The guy that was calling his staff pond life and stuff like that. And it was just, I just said, you are completely 100% completely different to me. I just don't work like that. I'm literally 100% the other way. So if you look after your staff, if you show an interest in what it's about, try and inform, let them know where the business is going, and do things like that, you'll get more from them. I mean, do what you. Listening to you, I'm staggered. Anyway, he did actually take all that on board.
Did he?
Yeah. He took it all on board.
You have a lot of advice to give, though. I mean, look how many.
Yeah, and I one of the things I always say is you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Don't get me wrong, he had a successful company, but why go to work and fight? People don't get up in the morning to go and be blasted by the boss every day, do they? They go there to work to earn money.
And you want to help your people, you want to help the people in the company, because then the company goes better. So why would you, instead of turning them?
Absolutely. And so at the end of the day, he turned it around, and he completely. He actually won a business award.
He should have said sponsored by Bill.
He came over.
Oh, did he?
He came over. He came over with his team. I want to introduce my team to you, and that was lovely. And I thought, how nice. But that's just I guess that's the power of understanding what you can do. If you actually turn that around.
Of course.
So it's good.
Good story.
Yeah, I obviously wouldn't name and shame, but and they're doing.
Nice that he recognised it.
Yeah,
as well.
and they're doing really well. Doing really well.
So when you're talking about like helping people, obviously you've helped me, you've helped loads of people in the Northeast.
Loads. Yeah.
Can you give any examples? Like, why do you help people so much? A lot of people have non-exec directors in the charge or whatever. So I just want to, how do you go about that? So, with me, obviously, you help me so much, and I can never be as thankful, So I'm just wondering about like that side.
Right, so there's two sides to that. Now, yes, I do help a lot of people. I do spend a lot of time helping people, but I couldn't do that without the support of the management team that I've got. So get yourself a good management team. So I've looked at succession planning. Steve Pearson, he joined the company in 2021 when we started Wilton Marine Services. And Steve, a lovely guy, really bright, a qualified mechanical engineer, qualified welding engineer, just a nice person all round, and so He's there. We've got Christine, who's a fantastic FD. You know, we've got a great BD guy. We've got a fantastic guy that looks after the shop. Our apprentice, 26 years. Our first apprentice is our construction manager.
Yeah.
You know, so he's been there all that time. You know, quality guys, HR, they're all really, really good. So they work as a team, and that gives me the time to help other people. That probably comes from the like a basic principle of being philanthropic.
Yeah.
Like and like giving. That's what I like to do. You know, I love to give.
Yeah.
And time is more precious than anything else. But I quite like doing that. You know, but I find it easy because of my age and the career that I've had and gone through. I can answer most people's problems if they've had, or challenges I call them. So if they've had something happen to them, I can almost guarantee it I've had it happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, so I can quickly advise.
You can tell that within the team, like the ethos, how because you were saying like lead by example. Obviously, like you help us, and then Steve does, Christine does, Kev does. Like they're all great, you know, great team, and I can turn to every one of them really. Like Juliet.
Fantastic, you know, Juliet. So yeah, that was the other thing. So I employed Juliet, you know, and you know, I couldn't do it without her now.
No.
You know, she's amazing.
No, she is, yeah.
You know, calling me work wife.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a success in the business which you weren't expecting? Or did it go a different way?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know.
No, you always knew it was going to be amazing.
Well, I never knew it was going to be amazing. I you know, it's all about hard work.
Yeah.
It's about effort and hard work, you know. And I always remember the story about you know, saying to Steve that we're going to get married, Steve, me and you. You know, we've got to work together, you know. And the key thing was, I see a lot of companies that have their own businesses, and they get a company credit card. I think they walk into, you know, wherever and just, I'll get a new laptop for the kids, and it's Christmas coming up, and I'll go in there and get some PlayStations or whatever and put it through the company. You just can't do that. No. You know, company's money is the company's money.
Yeah, I agree.
Your money's your money. Private money, do what you like, and you know, but the company's money is that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's. But I see so many people, you know, that think, oh wow, I've cracked it. You know, it's not like that.
No, I agree there. I think company, yours is yours.
Yeah, what's yours is yours. And you can spend it on what you like. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. What is an important lesson you've learned in your career?
I think the most important thing is to be honest. Just be honest and just tell the truth. Yeah. So we've when we estimate, and people ask us what it's going to take to deliver. Yeah. So I remember one project, and they wanted to be delivered by this particular June, within June. So we priced the job, and we just couldn't do it for June. So we could do it for October, but probably November, which is quite a long time after. It was a big job, don't get me wrong. So we put the bid in, and the guy rang me up, and he said, what's the point of giving me this? You know, you give me a bid here, and you're telling me you're going to deliver it in November, and I want it in June. I said, well, it's just not possible. What do you mean? I said, well, I've sent you a plan. We've had our planner, who's gone through everything. We've gone right into minutiae detail, and it can't be done. Well, so-and-so can do it, you know. And I said, well, if they can do it, then they've got a magic wand then. And I you know, hats off to them. So, you know, crack on. Yeah. And so they went to this other company, and June came, wasn't ready. November, it wasn't ready when I said it was ready. January, it wasn't ready. February, it wasn't ready. And I got a phone call in February. This is what, 7-8 months later than what's supposed to be. Can you help us out? I said, yeah, sure, of course. So we helped them out, and it was finally delivered in I think it was the June of the following year. And the company said to us, why didn't we give you the job in the first place? I said, well, we told you that there was this much work in it, and it was a stretch for us to do it in November. And you just poo-pooed it, you know. So we were honest. We told the truth. That's what it was going to do. That was going to happen. We could have taken that job on it'd have been a disaster
Yeah.
for the client. You know, they'd have been on LDs, massive LDs and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? You have a lot of loyal clients, though.
A lot of loyal clients. I have one client that I always say you should never burn your bridges.
No.
Right, so I've burnt one bridge. I actually dynamited it, to be honest with you. but you know, we did this job, and it was a really technically challenging job, and the client just wasn't playing ball at all. You know, blame culture from them. Oh, it was horrendous. You know, the people that put on site to look after it didn't know what they were doing. I always say that we get some inspectors who come along, they want 2 turkeys. People say, what's that mean? So they want to stay for 2 years, not 1 year. Yeah. You know, so and this particular client, he starved of us cash. It was just horrendous. You know, I mean, you know, and it was so difficult. We got the job done, we delivered it, and I just said to everybody, we should never. Ever darken that door again, you know. And that company went on to actually sink.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Sink a number of companies, yeah.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Calm out.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. They could have sunk us.
Yeah.
They weren't far away from it, to be honest. Oh, yeah.
So bad.
It was just dogged determination, and we just.
That's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah. But.
So how do you deal with? I mean, I suppose you don't really have that problem anymore with clients or anything. How do you deal with?
No, well, one of the things that I did, and this is a bit of advice actually, and it's lovely if you can do it, right? If you can choose who you work for, that's invaluable. You know, so you know, choose people who are like-minded. Yeah. You know, I was with a company yesterday that's going to be setting up on Teesside. Sat down with them, talked about wanting to create a partnership. Yeah. You know, I don't like to work for people. Yeah. I like to work with people, and that's where you get the most done. The most successful jobs that we've had completed is when we work as a team. Yeah. So there's no blame culture, and you understand that on day one something may go wrong. If it does go wrong, you know, choose 2 people within the company. It's normally me and somebody else from their company. We'll take it offline, we'll fix it, and we'll bring it back in again. And when we work on a mean curve, that's where we want to be, on that mean curve. Yeah. So we don't lose. We're not going to be late. You know, we're going to solve the problem and bring it back in. Yeah. No blame culture, all done. Yeah. But a lot of people don't understand that and never do it. Yeah. They all want to blame each other, and that doesn't get anywhere.
No. I agree there. No. I think there should be a
work
together.
Yeah. Work together. Yeah, same as the culture for work. Yeah. You know, I don't look at it that people work for us; they work with us. You know, so. This is
a weird question.
Weird question.
A weird question.
A weird question. Go on then.
If you weren't doing what you are doing now currently, what would your career be?
Oh gosh, I think do you know what? I'll tell you what I would like to have been. I'd like to be like a celebrity chef.
I was not expecting you to say that.
Wouldn't you? Yeah, I would love to be.
Like a Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah. Yes. So I've always liked cooking. Yeah. It is a funny thing for you, right? So when I was at school, you had to choose your O-levels and whatever you were going to do. And I used to take metalwork and woodwork. I remember the woodwork teacher throwing a chisel at me. Yeah. And that was never going to work. And I found metalwork boring. Sat filing a metal block, and I thought, oh no, I can't stand metal. You know, I'm not going to do that. So I chose home economics, which was like cookery and stuff like that.
What? Did you?
Home economics, cookery, yeah, and I loved it. I got a natural talent for cooking.
Have you really?
I have, yeah, honestly, yeah.
I bet Liz loves that.
Yeah.
What types of things do you cook?
Anything, just whatever you want. I'll have a go.
So, who are some influential people in your life? Or who was influential growing up?
I think the first person I would say was my grandma. So my grandma, we would play cards, Snap. I remember Snap, and so we sat there and we played Snap. And she used to put some sweeties on the side of the table that we were playing Snap on, and we'd like play the cards down. And she'd go Snap, come in, take a sweet, right? And I'd say, Grandma, when do I get a sweet? She said, when you win. When you win. So I'm like, right, okay, let's go for it, you know. And then, oh yeah, she was very, very competitive.
I love that.
And then my dad's the same, so
Yeah.
he's very, very competitive. My mum, she was, bless her, she's not with us anymore, but she was a grafter.
Yeah.
You know, I remember walking, we were brought up in Winniebanks, and I remember walking from the Winniebanks shops up to our house, which is quite a long walk, with like, you know, full handbags full of stuff for shopping, you know, tins and bottles and all sorts of things, carrying these, like, and her hands were like all cut in, you know, when she got back to the house and that. So she was a grafter. She worked all the time. My dad used to get knocked up in the middle of the night. A blue van used to come around and knock on the door. It wasn't the police. Wasn't the police, thankfully. But he was a really good crane engineer. And he was in charge of the beam mill at Lackenby. Some of these big charger cranes were like monster cranes, huge cranes. And there'd be things where nobody else could fix them. He'd be called out in the middle of the night, and he'd go along and fix them. And I used to be awake. So when he had the bang on the door, I used to look outside, see the blue van. Then I'd see him, you know, he'd get ready and he'd leave. And when I saw him leave, I'd jump back into bed. But I was just stayed awake until he used to come home, you know, and then he'd come back in and he'd fix these things, you know.
What time was that you used to leave?
It could be any time. It could be any time. It could be any time at night, any time. But it was like the whole plant would have been stopped. So he'd go at the Boss plant. He used to put the called chargers, and these big pods full of molten metal used to get, you know, tipped into the. He used to huge cranes, massive. You know, so he would fix them.
Yeah. What do you think about like the business influential side? You know, who was influenced you in that side?
Can't think of anyone. I can't think of anybody at all. Influential. Oh God.
You don't have to say anyone. Nah.
I can't think of anyone. I literally, I've been head down, arse up.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, people are looking at you. I think you're the influencer.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. You see, so when I was asked to go in for the Entrepreneur of the Year award, one, I couldn't spell entrepreneur. Two, I didn't know what one was really. And three, I had no idea that I was one until he interviewed me and then said, absolutely you are, you know, serial entrepreneur, you know, but I don't read newspapers. I bet you haven't read a newspaper 10 years? No, don't read newspapers. If I went to a quiz, I'd be the worst one on the quiz because I know nothing apart from work. If it was anything to do with welding, manufacturing, engineering, subsea, offshore, defence, offshore wind, I'd probably get all the answers right, hopefully. But general knowledge, absolutely, because that's all I've done is head down, arse up. Head down, arse up, that's all, you know, and yeah.
So what about Sweet William? Talk about Sweet William.
Yeah, so Sweet William, so that's my two daughters, really proud of what they've done. So they wanted to follow their dad's example and start their own business, and you know, and what I said to them about Steve and I, Steve Glenn, you know, we're going to get married, you know, and all that carry on. I said the difficulty is you are sisters, right? Now, a partnership is a ship that should never sail.
Yeah.
In reality, that's a saying, right? So, but you're my two daughters, right? And what don't I want? I don't want you to set up business, then become sort of fall out with each other, become aggressive to each other, the family splits. I do not want that to happen. And you've got to understand that's what happens to a lot of partnerships.
It does, yeah.
So, you know, like I said to Steve, look, if I pee you off, right, I haven't done it on purpose, you know, please don't hold that in. This is another good tip for people, really. So please don't hold anything in. If I've done anything to you and it's really annoying you and it's festering inside your stomach, come and tell me. Tell me, I'll listen and we'll talk it through and let's get it over with. I said the same to the girls, I said, you must talk to each other, do not have one like whinging about the other one, you must talk together, right? And what you got to do, you're dealing with the general public, it's just like, like I do at work, you've got to have the same philosophy in terms of looking after people. They are the public, they want servicing. So when they come to buy flowers, they want, a fantastic bunch of flowers. Go back to the chefing thing. When I was at school, I took home economics. The one thing that the teacher taught me was nobody goes to a restaurant because they're hungry.
Yeah.
Right? They're going for an experience. They want customer service. They want good food. It doesn't matter if you go to McDonald's or whether you're going to a high-end restaurant. That is it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same in a shop.
Yeah.
So they want good service. So you've got to, be on the ball and just be the best you can be.
Yeah.
So what we've got there is we've got Natalie, who is absolutely fantastic at actually putting flower arrangements together. I mean, when I actually deliver flowers on a Saturday, and I actually often do the weddings with them. It's because I've got OCD. I'm a right fanny, so I make sure everything is right. It looks right. It's all in line. Everything's So, and you go in and you give the bride her bouquet. A lot of them just burst into tears. And they say it's exactly what I've been dreaming about. That it's exactly what I want, And so the key thing in industry and in manufacturing, in anything at all, is use these ears. We've got 2 of them. Use them to listen. What is it people want? Don't presume and give them something. And don't be, when you're selling anything, don't go in there and try and sell them stuff that they don't want.
You've got to create
the ambience for them to literally tell you what you want. If then you can go and deliver it, and guess what? It's a success.
Yeah, definitely.
It's simple. I get people ringing me saying that they actually received the flowers and they just cried.
Yeah.
I remember delivering some flowers to a lady at on Valentine's Day, and I knocked on the door, and she, to be fair, she wasn't looking too happy. Walked up with this lovely bunch of flowers with a bow hanging, pointing in the right direction and everything, and it was a nice, lovely bouquet, beautifully put together. And she said, "Oh, they're not for me. They'll be for her next door, And I said, "Oh, really?" Right. And I'm looking at the name on the card. It's the right address and everything. So I won't mention their name just in case she's watching. But anybody else finds out. So I turned around as I was going to walk away, and I said, "Oh, your name is da."
Yeah.
And she went, "Yeah." And she just burst into tears. She grabbed on my arm. She said, "Oh my God, you've got the best job in the world."
Oh,
they're beautiful.
So nice. What a nice feeling as well.
I love
your
it.
job to do that.
I love it. There's an eldish couple, and I go and see them, and they're just amazing. I get to see people quite often, the same people, and
they're doing so well as well.
Here's one for you. So I was delivering to a 90-year-old lady, and I rocked up, and it was at one of these sort of managed housing sort of developments. She had her own flat, but it was managed by other people, Anyway, and they said, "You've got to knock loudly because she's deaf," right? So I banged on this door. Anyway, I could see this little figure coming towards the door through the glass, and it was like speckled glass type of stuff. And she opened the door with the most amazing smile. "Oh my goodness," she said, "are they for me?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm 90 today." I said, "Yes, I understand that." I said, "Well, that's what they said, but I can't believe it looking at you. You can't be 90, And I mean, a good bit of crack. And she genuinely loved these flowers, and I had a bit of crack with her. It was COVID as well, so I had a mask on, I had gloves on, and I stood well back, and and normally we'd put them on the floor, but I don't think she could bend down to pick them up. So I literally gave them at arm's length, and she said, "Thank you, young man." I like her a lot now. Don't I? Obviously.
Yeah, love it.
So, and then she turned around. She walked away. She walked into the thing, and I watched her walk down the into the lounge and what have you. I thought, "She's going to come back and close this door." No, I thought I'm going to lean forward and close the door for her. And I got in the van, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to ring the person who'd ordered them. So I looked at the phone, and I looked at the order sheet, and it's the person who's ordered them is on there, their number, just in case they're not in.
Yeah.
So I rang the number, and I said, oh, hi there, it's Bill from Sweet William, Floral Designs. And she said, oh, hello there, is there a problem? I said, no, at the contrary. She said, I'm ringing you to say that you've made this 90-year-old lady so happy. Oh. I've never, in 5 years, it's the happiest I've ever seen anybody look. She burst into tears with happiness, you know, and she said, oh my God, I can't believe you rang me to tell me, you know, I imagine you're busy doing your rounds and that, but you rang me and everything. I said, honestly, no, I couldn't have not rang you. So then when I got back to the shop, obviously she doesn't know who I am, what I do, and that I'm the daughter's father, you know. And she rang the shop and said that your delivery boy's amazing.
Your delivery boy,
yeah,
I love
delivery
that.
boy's amazing, yeah. And then she came in with a card.
Yeah, well, that's customer service, isn't
Yeah,
it? And she'll keep coming back.
Yeah. She came with a card, bless her, you know, to say thank you so much. Yeah, delivery boy, yeah, I love it.
Can you name any movies that you'd recommend people to watch?
I've got two, I think, that are favourites. It's a Wonderful Life. Which recently myself and Ali Beveridge, we organised through Teesside Charity to put this on for 150 students, and we used Middlesbrough College. Students went along, and it's about suicide awareness. Really, that's what it's about. But also within that, the college picked out that there's some business things in there. How to run a business successfully and how not to run a business. Yeah. And so these students, they were business students. Mm-hmm. I understand it that all of them were non-English speaking as their first language. Yeah. And we talked about, you know, health and well-being and things like that. And suicide as well. We talked about that as well to them before the movie. And when they got back to the classrooms, the teacher then disseminated the film and broke it down, and they were talking about all sorts of things. We got some fantastic feedback, and so from the charity point of view, we were just amazed that we got that feedback, and we're so glad that we could help people to understand that, you know, it's good to talk and things like that. You know,
it's really important. You guys are really. You always advocate for mental health, Wilton. We do a lot of posts.
Yeah, we do that. You do that for us as well, and also recently for the work front. You know, we work with Bethany Ainsley, and you know, we've worked with her on Optimi, which is a great platform for use, and we use it in our offices. Fantastic, covers the 6 well-being pillars of health, and it's one of the things that's really quite important to me. In fact, I'll just finish on that as well. Is that we organised a walk, and it was a walk into the light. The idea was that when I speak to people that have got mental health, quite often they say there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So we decided to create this walk where we went up to Middle and Teesdale, High Force, and we walked probably 10 miles. I set off at midnight. It took about 5 hours to do it. Pitch black, and we had headlights on our head, which were sponsored as well, you know, by a company. Thank you very much for that. And we did this walk. We walked pitch black, and then we walked into the light, and everybody that was there, 50 people. We weren't necessarily trying to raise money. We were trying to raise awareness more than that. But we actually raised just short of £20,000 for one night's work.
That's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, and it raised a lot of awareness as well. So going back to the films though, the other one would be Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman. Yeah, we love Pretty Woman.
Yeah, and there's a part in it, isn't there, where they talk about the guy buying a shipyard.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
isn't there? Yeah,
and
he, you know, he's the poor fella. You know, he's hanging on by a skin of his teeth, and he has to sell a shipyard, and I've just been through the same scenario.
Oh, really?
I was one who was buying the shipyard, yeah.
And he says, we'll make big ships
We
together.
make big ships together, yeah.
Me
So
and Mr. Lewis are making big ships together. I've watched that movie way too many times.
yeah. So yeah, we're literally that's the film that I quite like.
Yeah, good. I love Pretty Little Woman and
Yeah.
I'm going for I love
Yeah.
it. Is there any questions that you wish I'd asked you today? How would you answer?
Probably, I would say we've not really covered the philanthropy, you know, in terms of the giving, in terms of helping charities and things like that, and why I chose Teesside Charity.
Yeah.
So the Teesside Charity,
The Teesside.
as it's known now,
Yes.
was the Middlesbrough and Teesside Philanthropic Foundation.
Yeah.
That's all right if you've got your own teeth. If you haven't, I would imagine it's a problem. But yeah, so the Teesside Charity, I chose that because